Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. No surprise here. For the first time in as long as I can remember, we have two pros playing on what? Their IDs? Their actual IDs? Both of them at the same time? No one's a barcode or a string of mashed out letters or numbers? Crazy. Heresy. How dare they play on their actual IDs to get a real match that simulates something real about the competitive nature of having different styles in StarCraft? How dare they not just use barcodes to try to hide what they're doing to maybe have an edge if they know who their opponent is, but they don't have an edge on them? How dare they? Yeah, as you might be able to tell, I'm hugely against multiple accounts and barcodes. I think that you have a much more real game like this. Okay. Anyways. We're on Fighting Spirit. Sins in the top left. Very strong Protoss player. He has a lot of interesting ideas. He's a very strategic Protoss player. He's going up against Action. Action, I feel like, is having an identity crisis with his StarCraft play. It's been going on. We've been watching him slide into it over the last few years. For a long time, Action was known as, like, maybe the best Defiler user. You know, in both Zerg vs. Terran and Zerg vs. Protoss. He was known for very good late-game macro-manage-oriented styles with, like, really excellent Defiler usage, basically, okay? More recently, in the last few years, we've seen him get way more aggressive. And I will be honest, his results have deteriorated a little bit. He does a lot of very aggressive Hydra pushes in this matchup. He does a lot of very, very aggressive Mutalisk-based strategies against Terran. I'm not exactly sure why. In my mind, one of the big things that I saw Action do that I was sad about was he had a huge match against Rush, a 7-game series. He won 3 games with Hive Tech Crazy Zerg and lost 4 games with 2 Hatch Lurker All-Ins. I don't know how you pull the trigger on the 4th 2 Hatch Lurker All-In when you're 3-0 with Crazy Zerg. So I'm throwing this out there because I think that Action is one of the best Zergs in the world. But when he plays this other style, it is a bit of an issue. Now, this was just barely gets 2 lings past. Wow. Sins looked so confident that that was going to finish in time and deflect this. He was about a second or a second and a half off on that. And now he's got to chase these lings around. Action going for 3 hatches. Gas on the way. Okay, while we watch this one ling cost tons of minerals, every, 7 or 8 seconds, a probe will bring back 8 minerals. So it's pretty significant. Now, as you get higher saturation, that number goes down, just to make it clear. So it's not as bad as what I just said. Earlier on, it's worse. He catches it. That was some good micro, some nice moving shot. But I want to go back and talk about that difference that we've seen from Action. Like, look, here, 3 Hatch Hydra. Okay, I don't know. Maybe he just goes and wins with it. I think when you go, especially when he started this kind of more aggressive play a while ago, like, Hive wins are harder fought in a lot of ways, or they were back then, for sure. Nowadays, Crazy Zerg is literally one of the easier wins you can get as Zerg, but I wonder if he started to try to diversify his play a little bit, because that does add strength. You do want to be able to do all these different styles and become dangerous like a player like Sulky, but it feels like he's overdone it. One thing that, and he was always seen as a late game macro Zerg, and then he became more aggressive, and maybe that helped for a little bit, but I feel like he's never really dialed it back in a little bit. There's like some saying about the easiest way to win is to play against your own style. Like, I forget the exact wording to this. You guys have probably heard a quote similar to this, and like, the essence of it stayed with me, but not the exact words. But, like, those are the easiest wins that you'll get. I think that part of that has to do with the expectation of you to play a certain way and then you play counter to that. Like if you're known for always playing a defensive macro game and then you all in suddenly, that can, you know, give you a win that you're like, wow, that was easy. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that we see action kind of return towards more later game stuff, but let's see. You know, you're always welcome to change your style, and styles evolve over time too. Sometimes your brain kind of realigns and you decide something else is better. I've definitely gone through that evolution myself. We'll talk more about that in a minute here. But the Hydras are coming out. The Zealots actually scout them down here, so that's actually pretty decent. He has time to add some cannons. He does have 2 cannons already. The range upgrade is not ready yet. Oh, he might want to turn and actually attack some of these Hydras. Ooh, I think turning there would have been better. Because he's going to lose like 1 and almost a half. Or a little over a half, yeah. On the way back. It felt like he might have been able to pick a Hydra off there. 2 more cannons are on the way here for Sins. He's really not over-adding them. Forge and Citadel up at the main. He cancels any... I didn't even see if he had attack upgrades going here, but might have. Couple more buildings going up. 1 cannon, 1 pylon for this side. I think this pylon might not reach up here. More Hydras just coming out from action. He adds that 4th hatch as well. He's on the 22 drones that you're so used to seeing with these 3-hatch Hydra plays. More cannons coming up for Sins. So a little bit of a poke up. That was kind of interesting. What he did there was picked off the cannon so he could back up and hit the forge, but then suddenly he's decided to go up and kill a couple more cannons off. I would like to see him move these up a little bit right there to hit these 2. I think he can definitely cancel this one if he positions it correctly. He's going to just take out the wall for now. Okay, goes up to take one of them out. He is taking quite a few hits each time. Sins is very on top of getting his Zealot damage in. Okay, that cannon finishes... Forge is gone. Pylon can be picked off pretty easily. I don't think action's going to break him. Sins looks solid here. I think he got all of his cannons just at the right time. And I'm looking at a 48 probe to 22 drone count here, which definitely is very heavily favored towards Sins. 48 probes is like really fantastic situation on saturation on 2 base, and a fantastic situation as well. I didn't actually misspeak. You have to be happy with that. Adding more gateways, only a single forge. Some people like the double forge here. Some people like the single forge. Templar archives coming up as well. It's actually a pretty fast layer considering. Additional macro hatchery. Hydras coming back to parry this Corsair. Just a small group of Hydras up here. Of course, with the speed and range upgrades, he's going to be fine. And seeing all these Hydras back at home, he actually cancels that last cannon. I wonder if he made maybe 1 cannon too much. I don't want to nitpick over something like that. But you see sometimes these Protosses that get like... If you have cannons that look like it's very close... to the right amount, but maybe slightly low, and then they don't attack, that would be probably the best situation. Or if they do attack and you just exactly kill everything and are safe. You don't want to over defend. Like he could have made 4 more cannons and never died to the Hydra bust, but then he doesn't get the gateways quick enough to pressure anything, and the drones that come out actually put action ahead. It's a little bit of an art form, getting the right amount of defense in StarCraft. An additional macro hatchery coming up. There's the Spire, +1 missiles, Lurker upgrade, and Overlord speed. Back at the base of Sins, he's got the Zealot legs, Trigoon range, Psystorm, +1 armor. He did finish in, this is the secondary forge now that we were questioning before. And there's a +2 attack, starting up a couple photon cannons in the mineral lines. So if you're making these photon cannons, you think that there might be mutas on the way. A lot of the time right now, we have Protoss players going for a Dark Archon. I wonder if that's something we could see. He's popping out his regular High Templars first. In fact, he's going up to 6, which is... And he's got 2 more on the way? What? What? Okay, modern PvZ is all about 4 High Templars, but let me put a caveat here. Modern PvZ normally has a Corsair opening. When your opponent does a 3-hatch Hydra opening against you, you have way more gas because you don't have to build a bunch of Corsairs. He built like 1 Corsair this game, I believe. Maybe he made 2. I wasn't really paying big attention because that's about as many as you'll ever get, is a couple. But this is a lot of High Templars. He is going to have so many Storms. Action right now, moving up with his Hydra Lurker composition. Looks like he wants to get a containment up. Will he try a containment here, or will he try a containment here? It looks like he'll go here. Sometimes you'll see the containment, and then you'll see quick movements up here to try to deny the space. But I don't think you can do a good job both containing here and holding this ramp. Those 2 spots are so far from each other that a Protoss macroing well should be able to break out of one of them easily. One of them should be under-defended for what it needs. Wow. Okay, sorry about that. I was kind of looking at the overall ideas that were going on in the game. I'm actually... I feel bad sometimes, but it's also a little bit funny because guy watching this video, you and I are different people. You want to see the action of the hatchery dying and the zealots coming up and punching it. What I want to do is talk about the theory behind the moves. That's my entertainment. Sorry, guys. I'll try to do better. I think I have gotten better as an observer very slowly over time. But if I'm going to do the channel forever, that means I will eventually be the best observer in the world. So just stay tuned. Okay, so this is insanely good defense. He has a lot of Dragoons. Scourge coming in. He actually picks off the Scourge before losing the Observer. This looks like a pretty good breakout so far. He's got 4 of his 6 High Templars down here with this army. Still very good Psi Storms. It looks like he has 1 High Templar up here and 1 sitting back. A reserve High Templar, as it would be, at those cannons. Action moves back the Contain. The Contain is getting a little bit more fragmented, but you have to be careful. You don't want to go into this area because then Hydras will come from here and from here. So the surface area Zerg will be insane if you walk into here. I think what you want to do is move directly down and clear this. Now, a little bit of a push up. Throws his Storms down. This is going to buy a little bit of time while the Dragoons come up here. But he does buy that time. Some more Photon Cannons coming up. I always like it when they leave like a couple Zealots here. Just Zealots on high ground are so tanky against Hydra shots. It can really slow them down and keep your cannons alive a lot longer. Now, let's see if he moves down. I want to see a directly south move down. Okay, that's exactly what he's doing. This is a really good move. If your opponent's trying to flank, it's going to take him a little bit longer to get out of here, and you can move up. So he's only engaging the left bottom side of this, which is, again, very, very smart. Throws down some Psi Storm. This is a huge amount of Dragoons. He's got those beautiful 2-1 upgrades, so he's up 2 upgrades right now. Continues to punch through this this Lurker kind of containment. Now, here comes that flank from the side. It is quite a bit later, and he throws down some good, solid Psi Storms. He does have a couple more Psi Storms, actually, so he's fine, and he's breaking out through this Lurker containment. He's broken the bottom part of it. And now, yeah, there's only a couple Lurkers left up here. You can't really even call that a containment anymore. So now Sins is broken out. He has a group of Speed Zealots coming down here, but instead of watching that, let's just talk about the theory of these Hydras moving. I'm joking. Okay, we'll go back over to the hatchery. He is going to be able to kill this off. Sin's really taking control of this game. Really, really, really taking control of this game. And I have a lot to say about that if this game goes into his favor. Well, even if it doesn't go into his favor, I have a lot to say. You can see his supply is dwarfing actions right now. The Zealots just kind of run away. They're just buying a little bit of time. They're not going to trade favorably from here, but it does allow him to move through the map a little bit more freely while those Hydras clean up. Drones being transferred up. Well, it's not even time to mine there yet. Maybe that's not transfer. Maybe that's just the ones that were mining there, doing long distance. And this big attack coming in, he has to cancel his hatcheries. He's got a lot of drones in here. Not looking very good for action. He's down on 3 bases against 3 bases. 4th base being taken by Sins. 5th base being taken by Sins. And he's got so much control right now. Action could maybe kill one of these. But that's it. Yeah, Action's going to GG. So I actually want to go back to what I was talking about before the Action picked up. Where literally we were talking about how Action has become so aggressive lately. And I you know, go into all these games blind, but I watch these guys all the time, and this is something I've noticed with him, is that he has gone towards aggression, and it's not delivering in the way that his macro play has. And you can see that here. Sins took complete domination. Like, he put the cannons up correctly, and the aggression of Action didn't work out. Action has had worse results lately. His results are falling off slowly. Action was like literally always round of 8. He was one of the most consistent players in ASL. And now I don't even really think about him that much. I was saying before, there can be an evolution to the way that you look at a game, the type of strategy that you utilize. And I think that that can be a normal, healthy thing. But I feel like Action went too far towards aggression. It's clearly not working as well, and the current metagame is better anyways for less aggression. That's my opinion on Zerg play. I think that Zerg is really, really good later game right now and not as good at rushing. And I know that's the fact in Zerg vs. Terran, but I feel like that's the fact in Zerg vs. Protoss too, even though you can get easy, quick, free wins with those Hydra busts sometimes. Me, myself, I just want to throw this little anecdote in there. Like, before I played StarCraft competitively, I was a Magic the Gathering player. And, you know, I had a long career playing, like, a lot of tournaments in that. And I started out as, like, a blue deck counterspell control player thinking, well, this is the best way to play. And eventually, I kind of evolved more towards aggression, got way better tournament results with, you know, more red decks, black decks, things like that. And at the very end, as I was retiring to focus full-time on StarCraft, I was kind of like in a tempo-ish aggressive area with the decks that I was making and playing in tournaments. And I you know, so there's that evolution that I think, again, can be healthy and good for a player. But in Action's particular case, we don't really see... Like, I would like for him to sometimes do the 3-hatch Hydra. I wouldn't like to take away aggression. But I think a more sulky-ish approach might be better. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. You know, I don't know that there is a right answer. These games are so complex. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. This was actually... I enjoyed this one. We'll see you next time.